2 days ago, Russia started their attack towards Novomikhailivka from this side, and today they tried to push forward even with more forces, but failed. Ukraine gathered some of the reinforcements and performed a counterattack. Let's look at some of the images. For now we have just a screenshots. Russia advanced with their tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, tanks and again tanks. On this image you may see that they're smoking a little. Here we see some of the fire and smoking again. Some of the vehicles tried to make a U-turn to leave the positions, but it was too late for them. Everything was ambushed. Russia lost at least 7 of the vehicles for the single attack. Hopefully the full video will be released and I will share it on my Telegram channel. Hello my friends and welcome. My name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. For today we may say that Ukraine stopped this Russian attack vector. Also Russia tried to advance from the south but also was stopped. But what is happening in Avdiivka with the Ukrainian counteroffensive towards the Russian assault vector? So yesterday I told you that Ukraine struck Russian positions from both of the sides, trying to cut those from the Russian only supply line over here. Well, for now it looks like Russia keeps that supply line under control, unfortunately. At least there were no any changes about the situation in this sector today. As well as there are no any changes in Avdiivka direction at all. None of the sides is able to reach their goals out there, but hopefully Ukraine will be successful with its counterattack. There are also no any changes in Tabaivka, which was recently occupied by the Russian forces, but just the next day Russian forces were kicked out from this small village. Some military bloggers say that it's the city, but no, they're just couple of buildings in Tabaivka. No civilians live out there. Here we see the example why the drones are so effective. So this is the Russian tank. It crosses the railroad probably near to Avdiivka. It goes to target Ukrainian positions. It fires several of the times. And here drone hits the tank at the back, targeting the engine compartment. The tank stuck at the same place but continued to fire the shells on Ukrainian positions. However, because tank lost its mobility, crew had to evacuate and abandon the machine. But in general, this tank may be used in the future if you just change some of the engine components. What usually happens after Ukraine flies there with other drones, dropping a couple of the shells on a tank, kaputting it. So sometimes FPV drones may just kaput the tank right away, but in most of the cases drone causes the damages to the enemy machines and crew have to leave those. Still, as you can see, a very effective tool against the Russian vehicles. Russia again shows the Jurassic T-55 tanks, this time in Kherson direction. I can confirm that because that kind of the sand is only near to the Dnipro River, somewhere on the south. And you see that this tank is basically a standard Soviet tank with only grill modification. There is no extra armor, there is nothing. There is some sort of the modification of the Russian T-55 tank with extra armor, with modern type of the aiming equipment, but we rarely see those on the front lines. Honestly, I do not recall that I saw them in Ukraine at all. So the effectiveness of those Russian tanks are under the huge question. But we have some of the good tank news for Ukraine. Kuwait is up to transfer around 100 of the M84AB tanks to Ukraine. Some of the tanks have been already spotted on their way to Croatia and then they will go to Ukraine. The M84 tank is the deep modernization of the T-72 tank, which was made in Yugoslavia before. So our soldiers know how to operate them. Awesome. 100 tanks, it's a lot. More awesome news. Ecuador is going to transfer the military equipment, the Russian-made military equipment, to the United States, and after it, United States will transfer it to Ukraine. For this move, Ecuador will obtain credits for $200 million United States dollars. Russia was really against this deal, but they couldn't do anything. The president of Ecuador said that it's not the military equipment, it's the metal scrap. So according to agreements, they're able to transfer the so-called scrap metal to United States. Ecuador doesn't call it a military equipment. The German-made Skynex air defense systems were delivered to Ukraine. awesome news, as we expected the last year delivery happened in 2024. It is a very effective weaponry. It could be used against the drones and other low-flying targets, like helicopters, for example, or attack airplanes. I believe that Ukraine will use them against mostly the Shahid drones attacks. I think that the function of the system is very similar to Gepard, but Gepard air defense has some of the armor. This vehicle has no armor at all. And you see how it is effective against the drones. Very nice solution with a very precise fire. I think that United States of America also should have those kind of the systems to defend their army bases in the Middle East. Not exactly German-made, but those kind of the systems with a similar effectiveness. I just wonder what kind of the analogs of those systems are there in the United States Army. By the way, today I filmed one more video on my other channel about the attack on the United States military bases, describing the case with Tower 22 base in Jordan. So my friends, if you want to watch it, please check out my other channel. I'll put the link for it in the video description just below. The video will be available after a couple of hours, right after I publish this one which you are watching. Alright, finally, after so many months of waiting, tomorrow there will be a delivery of the JLSDB bombs to Ukraine, which could be launched from HIMARS or M270 rocket artillery systems and may cover 150 kilometers, a little bit less than 100 miles. How many of those will be delivered to Ukraine? It is not said by the United States. Yes, the delivery is conducted from the United States. It is the old contract from 2023. Those gliding bombs are not powerful enough to damage, for example, Kerch Bridge significantly, but they will be used to target many of the Russian headquarters and ammunition bases far behind the front lines. So very effective tool for Ukraine will be delivered tomorrow. Awesome news. Alright, it seems like there is definitely a conflict between Vladimir Zelensky and General Valery Zaluzhny. Yes, the information comes already from the Western media sources like Financial Times. They say that they have some of the insights that definitely there was the talk between Zelensky and Zaluzhny about the resign of the commander Zaluzhny. The source says that Zaluzhny was proposed with different rank or different official position in Ukrainian government, but he refused to go for this deal and asked Vladimir Zelensky to dismiss him personally. The Financial Times stated that finally Zelensky will resign Zaluzhny after all, because he is goal-oriented for that. Again, this information is not 100% truthful, but something tells me that definitely something happened there. Maybe not exactly those steps as they say, but it is the tension between general commander and president for sure. Because the information is all around and Ukrainian officials do not say that it is fake. No. If you want to know more about the case, I'm gonna film one more big video, but on the other channel. I just hope that General Zaluzhny will stay in power. The director of the CIA, William Burns, says that this year will be crucial for Ukraine and that allies should continue the support of Ukrainian military. Otherwise, it's called a self-destruction. That is what I am saying. Supporting Ukraine is crucial. Burns says that Putin thinks that time plays in his favor and he increases the production of the weaponry. Also, according to the latest information, the North Korea alone is capable to supply the Russian army fully. They increased the production of the artillery shells and they already transferring a ballistic missiles to the Russian army. It's just crazy. Putin will visit the North Korea very soon, so probably they'll obtain even more weaponry after negotiations at the very high level. Meanwhile, Ukraine has the deduction in the military support. Also, we have the confirmation that China transferred some of the weaponry to Belarus. There were several flights from China to Minsk registered at the beginning of this month. Cargo flights, as intelligence services say, it was a military cargo, but what particularly was inside is unknown. There were numerous of the accidents with electrical power plants inside the Russian Federation, in Moscow and other cities. The Russian side says that in many of the cases it was sabotage. It seems like Ukraine moved more of the air defense to the eastern side of Ukraine. Yesterday it was confirmed that Russia lost Sukhoi 34 fighter bomber jet in Luhansk Oblast. For the last months, it's the 5th Sukhoi 34 which Russia loses in Ukraine, and before the war they were able to produce 5 of those per year. We have the news that Luxembourg joined the coalition for Ukrainian F-16 fighter jets, but in what way Luxembourg will support Ukraine with that deal, I'm out of clue. Will they provide F-16s? I don't think so, maybe just the training. The Time Journal says that Ukraine probably will intensify the attacks on the Russian infrastructure because Ukraine is unable to achieve its military goals on the front lines as it was in 2022 and partially in 2023. Simply, Ukraine is out of the resources. That's why it will use more long-range drones to target the Russian, for example, oil infrastructure or facilities to produce artillery shells in Russian Federation. We expect all of those attacks to intensify this winter and during all of the year. It is the only possible way for Ukraine to slow down the Russian attacks. At the same time, the attacks on the Russian territory might provoke Putin for escalation of this war. Seeking for revenge after those attacks, Russia might launch more and more attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure. The last week they already totally demolished the Kremenchuk oil facility in Ukraine. And according to reliable information coming from Ukrainian side, Russia also targeted the crucial facilities for Ukrainian military infrastructure, including the Ukrainian factory which produces missiles like Neptune missiles. Unfortunately, it is true. The last night, Russia reported a significant amount of the drone attacks on their controlled territory, including Crimea. As usual, they say that all of the drones were intercepted by their air defense, but later this day, Ukrainian officials reported that they've targeted some of the radar system of the Russian forces in Crimea. It is hard to say what particular radar system was attacked by Ukrainian drones. No videos were provided, so I think we should wait for it to get the final confirmation about the case. The problem is that there could be no any video evidence from the place because locals do afraid to publish the images into the social media. My friends, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And also, if you want to support my job, you may check out some of the links in the video description just below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and the sponsors of my YouTube channel. Guys, you are awesome. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are and have a great time.